because she hasn't done that because she thinks she's too good, really, to drive. And look, and I understand certain security issues. But hey, I've heard stories about, Ronald Reagan, when he left office, he rode horses, and I heard him and Nancy drove their own cars. Now, I didn't see any pictures of it, so I can't, confirm that, but that's what I heard. George Herbert Walker Bush, he liked to go out in his boat. He rode, he drove his, I guess it's called driving a boat, drove his own boat. He drove his own boat while he was president. What was the last thing that Hillary Clinton actually piloted or drove? I guess you call driving a boat piloting, right? Yeah. When was the last time that you saw her or heard about her piloting or driving anything? Well, the rest of us we don't know what it's like to not have to do that. If we have a boat, we have to pilot the boat, captain the boat. If we have an airplane, we have to pilot that aircraft. If we have a car, we have to be the driver. Hell, half the time, especially if you have kids, you're the chauffeur. But she goes into Chipotle after being driven there. She parks in a handicapped spot. Now, if you or I get parked, I know in New Hampshire, I think the first time you get ticketed for parking in a handicapped spot is at least $50, and then you add on all the court fees and surcharges and stuff like that. It could cost you $100 to park in the wrong spot. Now, I know in I've heard people getting a ticket for $250 for parking in a handicapped spot. But here she pulls up. Well, she doesn't. Her driver pulls up into a handicapped spot. She jumps out, goes in with a friend of hers, one of her campaign people, into Chipotle. Think, oh yeah, we're going to do something that average, regular, everyday people do, and people are going to take, the press is right behind us. They're going to take pictures of this, and so I can prove that I'm a everyday champion. I'm just like everybody else. I know what it's like because I know what it's like to be, the average person because I went into a Chipotle. I mean, it's about as bad as, Barack Obama thinking that he's normal because he goes into a McDonald's or a fast food burger joint. I mean, hey, I'm sure everyday people, I'm sure you and I, we regularly have a bunch of security people running around making sure that the fast food joint is safe from rum squabs and thieves and criminals and other people of ill repute. So yeah, we have that regularly. But she goes. It's supposed to be just a spur of the moment thing. She's driving down the street and she says, "Hey, look at that right there. That's a Chipotle. Pull over. Let's go into Chipotle." So you pull into Chipotle, you go in and you order $20 worth of stuff, and I guess it's $20 and change is what the bill came to, and they paid $21. There's a tip jar. Now, I don't know, how many times have you heard stories, and there's stories all the time about somebody going into a restaurant of all kinds, it's a nice family-style restaurant to a diner, and they leave a ridiculous tip. I mean, the bill might come to $20 and they leave a $100 bill and say the rest is a tip. That's yours. Or the bill is like $100. They go in a nicer restaurant and the bill's $100 and they put a $100 tip or a $500 tip on their credit card. And those are regular people. Or you get somebody like, I just hit the lottery. I won $1,000 or something on a scratch ticket. You know what? I'm going to pay it forward and share a little bit because, waitress, because you look like you could use some help. So here's a $500 tip. We hear stories about regular people doing that all the time. She couldn't even leave a tip in the jar marked tip jar. And I can tell you that the people in Chipotle are not making $15 to $20 an hour. So a good portion of their income comes from what? Tips. Now, whenever I see a tip jar, I do try to leave a tip. I know people say, well, why would you leave a tip? But I know you have to be careful because there are some places that don't accept tips. Dunkin' Donuts around here, they're like gas stations. They're all over the place. Some Dunkin' Donuts allow you to tip their employees, and some don't. They have a tip jar. I'll throw in, my bill is, at Dunkin' Donuts is never more than $5. Because, I'll get coffee and maybe I'll get a pastry or one of their sandwiches or something, and it's usually around $4 to $5. I'll put the change and another dollar bill in the tip jar if there's a tip jar. No, I don't know. $1 off on a $5 bill is pretty good. Especially all they did was, it's fast food. They're not serving me or anything. They're just giving it to me. She couldn't even do that. She could not even do that. But she's supposed to be out there representing you and me, regular people, being the champion for everyday regular people. She can't even support you, yet she's expecting you to support her. You see, you understand where I'm going with this, right? You understand what do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You'll get 5 points if you know what movie that line came out of or came from. Again, I don't think Hillary Clinton would know, but regular everyday people like you and I would know what line that movie came from. We didn't even know the two actors who spoke that line. She probably doesn't, because she's not an everyday person like you or me. And she hasn't been for at least 20 to 30 years. She has no clue. And she's so clueless and so careless and so selfish and so self-centered that I don't know how you could possibly not notice a jar on the counter next to the cash register where you have to pay for your food that says tip jar on it. Oh, what'd she do? Did she turn to her friend and say, what does that mean? Here, I'll give you a tip. Vote for Hillary. That's a good tip. Vote for Hillary. And then she probably walked out of the, she did walk out because the manager says, yeah, she didn't leave a tip. They paid their slightly over $20 bill with $21 and they left. I'm sure as Hillary was getting in that car, there was that cackling laugh that came back. Probably thinking I fooled all of them. I went to Chipotle. I got some regular, everyday, common food. Now I'm going to chow down. She probably didn't even eat it. She probably turned to her Social Security, her Secret Service detail, and said, "Here, you eat it." Now my question is, well, you know how you know if she actually ate it? Because in about an hour later or 2 hours later, she's probably sitting in the bathroom for a while. Because look, I'm sure that her system is not used to such food. I don't know. Maybe Chipotle made something special for her. Maybe they had a filet mignon. Yes, I have that filet mignon burrito, please. I'm sure. Look, if it was on the menu, I am sure she would have ordered it, and probably would have. The burrito was probably $20 for that, if that's the case. But look, I am sure. She didn't even. She parked in the handicap spot, so she didn't even pay the parking meter. Think about that for a second. She had her driver pull into a spot. And probably because it was, the closest to the door of Chipotle. Half the time when you're driving around places, the handicap parking spots are empty. That's just an observable fact for me. They seem to always be empty, and you can't park there because you'll get a ticket or towed. And so she pulled in there because it was probably close to the door, so she wouldn't have to walk very far. Unlike the rest of us regular people, sometimes we have to walk a block or two in order to go to the place that we want to get to because there's no parking spots nearby. But that's what everyday people do. That's what regular folk do. They walk. And sometimes they walk a great distance. But not Hillary. Oh, no, she couldn't walk. So they pulled into a handicap spot. Now, so maybe, I don't know, old grandma who's on a cane, who walks with a cane or a walker, didn't have a place to park because Hillary's Scooby van was there. So she walks in with a friend, and again, not doing something that us regular people do. We have to fumble for change, or we have to, because a lot of places are now replacing coin operated things with card activated ones. You can use your debit card or credit card. So we're either fumbling for some change, trying to find some change to put in the parking meter so we don't get a ticket. Or we have to walk over to one of those machines that'll accept our debit or credit card, so we can take that little slip of paper that is printed out that says that, we have this much time to park, and we have to go back to our car. I mean, think about this now. Yes, they do try to place these machines every so often, so you're not walking too far. But think about this. Us regular people, we have to find a regular parking spot. We have to pull into that regular parking spot. Then we have to either find the change in our pockets or in the car somewhere, and we have to go to the meter, and we have to feed the meter. Or worse, if we don't have, coin-operated machines in our town anymore, we have to find one of those machines that will accept our debit or credit card. And then we got to wait there for it, to clear our bank and get printed out these little pieces of paper that say, okay, you have like 10, 15 or half hour of parking. And then we have to walk back to our car and stick it in the window. And then we get to walk to our destination. So then we get to walk to Chipotle. And then we get to go in. And then when we order and we pay, we see the tip jar. Most of us regular people will leave a real tip. She didn't do any of that. I don't know. Is that a regular person to you? That's not a regular person to me. Look, this woman doesn't know anything. All she wants, she's faker than fake. I mean, Hillary Clinton is so fake that even fake people say, man, you fake. Think about it. This woman is so fake. She's so phony. She's such a liar. That even world-renowned con artists look at Hillary Clinton and say, damn, if I was good as you, all I need to do is pull off one scam and I'd never have to work another scam the rest of my life. Because this woman has pulled off scam after scam on us. Oh yeah, she almost pulled off the ultimate scam of becoming, president the first time around in 2008, 2009. But Barack Obama was a bigger scammer than her. But she scammed the American people, when her husband was in office. As first lady. Oh, she's such a great first lady. So she scammed the American people into believing that she was so wonderful and so talented and so smart and so competent that she chose a state to go to instead of going back to her home state of Arkansas. No, she chose another state and said, you know what? I want to be your senator. And she conned the state of New York into electing her senator. And then I don't know what happened. Somehow she was able to con, for whatever reason, and maybe they conned each other, which was probably the case, Barack Obama into making her Secretary of State. And then she decided, well, now what I really want to do is be president. And so now Barack can't run anymore. So I'm going to try to scam the people one more time. It's the ultimate scam. And she's probably thinking, well, hell, if Barack can do it, I can do it. Why not? I'm smarter than he is. And I'm a minority. I'm a woman. And, she's trying to elevate womanhood as being a greater minority than being black, half African. And then she's trying to put this scam on us. Oh, now she's trying to say that she's just a regular person, or she's the champion of the regular person, when her previous campaign 8 years ago, she wasn't trying to be the champion for the regular person. So now she's trying to scam us one more time. But now the cameras are on her big time, and we see every little thing she does. And every little thing she does tells us that this is nothing but another